And we start with a tram news from Turin, Italy, where new low-floor Hitachi trams were launched a few days ago. Notably, they were manufactured not in Japan, but at the Hitachi plant in Naples, so the money from this contract supported the Italian economy. In total, the city will receive 70 of these trams by 2025, and the first contract for 30 trams cost 63.4 million and was financed by the Italian Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure under the Program for Development of Public Transport in Large Cities. The next batch of 40 trams is to be financed together by the government, the city and the transportation company. The wagons are 28 meters long, can carry 2,500 passengers and were designed by Giugiaro Architettura. These new trams will gradually replace the Class 2800 wagons manufactured in the late 1950s and will make public transportation more attractive to passengers. The Italian city of Bari is planning to build a new 11-kilometer rail line bypassing part of the city instead of the existing one that goes straight through it. The new line will run in a tunnel between the airport and the Comune di Giovinazzo. Also, there are to be built two stations, one to serve the airport and the other one to replace the current Bari Santo Spirito station. The expected cost of the project is 970 million euros. Among the main project benefits are mentioned reduction in the number of rail crossings with the city streets and decrease in noise in the city. As for me, the point about reducing the number of crossings in the city is quite relevant, because if the train traffic is intense, then such a splitting of the city with tracks can cause significant inconvenience for residents. But the fact that the new line have been moved a kilometer away from urban areas is no good. Now it turns out that the new tracks and the station are in the middle of nowhere and far away from the urban centers. It would be much better for residents if the tunnel was laid roughly under the existing tracks and the current stations were adapted to serve it. Because the advantage of the current planning is that you leave your house and in a few minutes you can walk to the station and take a train, while the new station will require a bus or maybe a car to get there, and it's not very sustainable. Although the news also says that the railways are planning to build up and capitalize the current railroad sites, so maybe this is the main reason of moving tracks away. The Italian government has allocated 145 million euros to extend Milan's M1 metro line 3.3 km west to Valsesia, Olmi and Baggio. This is only a part of the project cost that is needed to start the work, and the total budget of this extension is estimated at 543 million euros. The work should start in 2025 and last for 5.5 years. The Italian city of Florence has decided to use money to encourage car drivers to switch to bicycles and allocated 1.2 million euros for this purpose. The program is called Pedala Firenze Ti Premia and offers participants the opportunity to receive up to 30 euros per month based on 20 cents per kilometer. Those cyclists who already use bicycles will receive slightly less, up to 15 cents per kilometer. To participate in the program, citizens will need to register through a special application, and then they will receive a special anti-fraud device, which is a patented system for monitoring and gamification of urban routes. And in total there should be 2,000 participants. The 200 most active users will receive additional 100 euros every month. You know, I have some mixed feelings about this news. Of course, encouraging people to choose a bicycle is a good initiative, but will this financial stimulation really work? Especially since 30 euros per month seems to be a very weak motivation. And by the way, what about the cycling infrastructure in Florence? Are there safe bike lanes everywhere? So, what do you think of this initiative? Is it okay or not? Turkish manufacturer Bozankaya has been awarded a contract to supply 20 trams to Naples. In total, now there are only 2 tram lines in the 3 million city of Naples which operate 20-year-old Ansaldo Breda trams. Last year, the city announced a tender for purchase of new trams, and the Turkish manufacturer won over the Italian company Hitachi Rail, formerly Ansaldo, offering the lowest price of 2.7 million euros per vehicle. The trams will be 5-section and double-sided, and the first one is scheduled to be delivered in 2025. By the way, a significant disadvantage of these trams is that they have rigidly fixed bogies, which means that they can wear out the rails more. But it turns out that this is the price of the lower price of the trams. Sorry for the tautology. Some of the wagons will operate on the existing lines, and the city plans to use the rest on the new route which is scheduled to be built next year. In fact, it will be the restoration of the old line, because on some streets the old rails are still stored under the layer of asphalt. As for Bozankaya itself, it has recently tried their hand in Poland, but lost the tram tender in Turin to Polish PASA, which offered a better price. And among the EU countries, Turkish trams are currently operating in the Romanian cities of Iasi and Timisoara. Milan plans to achieve zero emissions from public transport by 2030 and will purchase 550 electric buses by 2026. Today, ATM Milan has about 250 electric buses in its fleet out of total of 1,200 vehicles. Until 2026, 550 electric buses will be purchased through 293 million euros public funds and 24 million from ATM resources. ATM's electric plan also includes a comprehensive re-equipment of depots and network infrastructure to support electric buses. The Italian city of Naples has reopened metro line number 6 after extension by 3.2 kilometers. Its first section, 2.3 kilometers long from Mostra to Mergellina, was opened in February 2007 but was shut down in 2013 because of low ridership. The extension's opening means that residents of 47 of Naples territory now lives within 500 meters of a metro station. And from March 2025, a new fleet of 22 light metro trains will be introduced, supplied by Hitachi Rail under a 200 million euros contract. Hitachi Rail has been awarded a contract to supply 46 battery-powered trams to Florence. The new fleet of battery trams will reduce the need for a traditional overhead catenary, which is quite expensive to install and doesn't always fit visually into the historic center of Florence. Delivery of the new trams will begin in 2026. They will have a maximum speed of 70 km per hour, a length of 33.5 meters, 54 seats, and a total capacity of 278 passengers. They will also be equipped with a regenerative braking system that returns energy to the batteries during braking to reduce energy consumption and contribute to environmental sustainability. Hitachi Rail's battery technology was first tested in Florence in 2021, and after a successful test, the company was selected as the supplier of 46 new battery trams. In addition, it was awarded a 17 million euros contract to maintain the city's existing Serio tram fleet. And we start from Milan, Italy, where they opened extension of M4 metro line. It is the second automated line in Milan using the Hitachi Rail light metro technology already used in Copenhagen, Brescia and Milan's M5, which opened 10 years ago. So M4 is Milan's fifth metro line. It is 15 kilometers long with 21 stations and will eventually transport 230,000 passengers every day, with trains coming every 90 seconds in rush hour. Construction of the line took about 10 years. The first section, which was opened in 2022, started construction in 2012, while the rest started construction in 2015 and cost in general 2.3 billion euros. The M4, also called Blue Line, crosses the city east to west, passing through the city center and connecting with the Linate Airport, M1, M2, M3, although this last one requires a 300-meter walk, and multiple railway stations. The travel time from the airport to the city center is 12 minutes, and the entire trip takes around half an hour, all in the same fare zone, so 2.20 euros to get to the airport is quite a good option. The stations are quite deep. For example, Dateo is the deepest one in all of Milan at minus 32 meters and have very impressive volumes, although their design is more on the practical and budget side than on the aesthetic one. And one of the most impressive part of this project is the urban renewal. In fact, the M4 has allowed to improve the quality of public spaces by adding greenery, pedestrian plazas, cycle paths, and making streets safer for pedestrians and cyclists by making lanes narrower and building continuous sidewalks. At the western terminus station, they are also building a massive pedestrian bridge that will link two neighborhoods to the metro station across a canal and a railway. So, unlike the other metro projects where the aim was to free up space for cars, in this case the effort was made to give back most of the space to people. The municipality of Bologna has awarded CAF a contract for the supply up to 60 trams, which also includes 4 years of maintenance and spare parts supply. Initially, the contract will be for the supply of 33 units for about 130 million euros, which can be extended to 60 trams over a maximum period of 6 years. The Airbus model tram to be delivered by CAF will consist of 5 sections and will have a capacity of over 200 passengers with a length of 35 meters. It will also be equipped with onboard energy storage system that will allow it to operate without overhead wires, reducing both visual impact and energy consumption. This contract is a part of a project to build a new tram network in the historic capital of the Emilia-Romagna region, which will consist of 4 lines. Škoda has started the production of trams for the Italian city of Bergamo. This is part of a large project to build a new tram line, which is planned to start operating in 2026. The contract includes 10 double-sided fully low-floor trams from the 4-city classic family, which consists of 5 sections and are 32 meters long. These trams will also be the first ones from the Škoda group to be equipped with an advanced collision detection system to improve safety and protect passengers and pedestrians. As for the new line itself, it will be 7 kilometers long and will connect Bergamo station with Villa di Alme with 17 stops, 2 of which will be shared with the tram line 1. The project is funded by the National Reconstruction Plan and its total cost is 176 million euros. Currently, Bergamo already has one 12.5 kilometer long tram line, which was opened in 2009 and is served by 14 trams built by Ansaldo Breda. And this time we start with Italy. The first of 74 new low-floor tram-link cars manufactured by Stadler has started operating on the streets of Milan. The city carrier plans to gradually replace the old high-floor cars with these new ones. The total value of the contract that Milan signed with Stadler Valencia was about 190 million euros, so each car costs an average of about 2.56 million euros. Although since there are both 3 and 5 section units, the actual cost of the wagons differs. In general, Milan tram system has been operating since 1881, now has a network length of more than 116 kilometers and serves 17 lines with 423 cars. The new Stadler tram links will substitute the oldest high-floor articulated wagons built between 1955 and 1960 and some jumbo trams built in the 1970s. At the same time, the 151 Ventotto trams, which have already become an icon of Milan, will remain in operation. The Italian city of Trieste has finally reopened a unique funicular tram that has been closed since 2016 because of an accident. This tramline, which in its current form is unique in the world, is a 5.1 km long 1 meter gauge tramline that includes an 800 meter long slope section. And here on this slope, electric tram cars are moved up and down using a push trolley, also known as a cable tractor, in a funicular-like mode to overcome the 325 meter elevation difference, and all this works since 1928. After a collision between two trams in August 2016, the line was taken out of service for modernization, but despite promised funding, the work was postponed again and again. And on February 1st, 2025, the line was finally reopened to passengers using the rail cars built in 1935 and 1942. Italian city of Brescia has signed a 326 million euros contract for the construction of its new tram line with a group of companies led by Manelli Impresa. The new line will be 11.3 kilometers long and will connect Pendolina and Fiera stations. 72% of the line will have a dedicated lane, and the 8.2 kilometer section will be powered by an overhead catenary, while on the rest 3.1 kilometers trams will run on batteries to minimize the impact on the landscape. In Italy, they presented a preliminary project for a tram line worth 722 million euros, which will connect Brescia and Lake Garda. This line will be 22 kilometers long and have 11 stations, connecting Brescia with the municipalities of Villanuova sul Clisi and Roe Volciano on the western shore of the lake. The province of Brescia aims to transform public transport with this new infrastructure, with the goal of reaching over 10 million passengers in the first year of operation. The project, developed in collaboration with the University of Brescia, involves creation of a protected tram line that will be able to compete with private cars in terms of travel time. It is estimated that around 5 million passengers will switch from the current intercity bus network, and another 4 million will give up their cars in favor of the new service. By the way, I visited Garda once, and it is an amazing place. And if there is also a tramline there, it will become almost perfect. Alstom and Trenitalia have unveiled the new Coradia Stream regional train capable of speeds of up to 200 km per hour. They will be introduced in Tuscany, Lazio and Umbria, marking a significant step forward in the modernization of Italy's regional transport network. The trains will consist of 8 cars, carry up to 1,076 passengers and offer barrier-free access with automatic boarding ramps. The launch is part of Trenitalia's broader 7 billion euros fleet renewal plan, which aims to replace 80% of regional trains by 2027. The program involves the introduction of 1,061 new trains in addition to the 931 new generation trains already in service. In Milan, they launched the extension of Tramline 7, which reached the Adriano district and connected it with the M1 metro line. The new 1.5 km section with 5 stops and a completely dedicated right-of-way will be served by new Tramlink bidirectional trams with a frequency of 7 to 8 minutes. And work is also underway on the following sections of this line, which are scheduled to open in 2027. The next stages involve extending the line east to Casina Gobba and west, where a new connection will be created with Tramline 4 and the future interurban line, which is currently under construction, to Serenio, a town in the suburbs of Milan. The cost of the recently opened section is 17.8 million euros, of which about 55% came from the Milan municipal budget and the rest from the government. And for those under construction, the total estimated amount is 88.5 million euros. Once completed, Tramline 7, also known as Interquartiere Nord, will be about 14 kilometers long. Meanwhile, the Rome Metro has made an important step towards connecting the historic center with the rest of the city by opening a 4-kilometer extension of Line C, which connects the San Giovanni station with the Via dei Fori Imperiali area. New section includes 2 museum stations, Colosseo Fori Imperiali and Porta Metronia, both built at a depth of about 30 meters and designed to showcase the remains discovered during excavations. So, Line C now provides a faster connection between the southeast and the northwest areas of the capital, covering a distance of 22 kilometers and 24 stations from Monte Compatri Pantano to Colosseo Foro Imperiali in the heart of Rome. And when Line C is fully completed, it will be 29 kilometers long and have 31 stations. Currently, the Rome Metro consists of 3 lines and have 77 stations.